Oh, thank you.
I sometimes get the strangest emails from people, you know? It's I have a friend who used to say you could stand on the street corner handing out chocolate chip cookies and somebody would complain, I'm gluten-free, I'm diabetic, whatever it is. But people always have something. What's happening in Texas today, Jimmy and JoAnne? It's lovely to see you both.
It's great to see you too, Jason.
Well, we're having
warm weather.
Yeah, spring weather, 75 degrees, nice breeze, perfect day.
The thunderstorms start again tomorrow, so it was a nice little reprieve.
Yeah, and it's been very warm in New York here today. It's 54 degrees. I brought up these strange emails because there's usually about a 10 to 12 second lead in when I begin the show, and somebody emailed me objecting to that. I do it because we're broadcasting on so many different platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope, on DLive, on VK.com, on Twitch, all these different things, and each of them have different technical requirements. So I find if I don't have that 10 to 12 second lead in, there's usually a clippage that happens in the beginning. And of course, everybody knows we're going to be starting our sponsor exclusive show, Unseen Libya, with Jimmy and JoAnne Moriarty at 8:30 p.m. tonight. People can see that on Patreon and Subscribestar. Do you guys want to give us a little overview of what we're going to talk about? I know that you've prepared a bunch of documents for us, and there's a lot going on.
Well, you know, there's a document we've added that was read into the Library of Congress, I think, in 2012, where all the illegitimate forces in Libya were defined. Ansar al-Sharia, Al-Qaeda, etc., and they named Belhaj as the #1 terrorist in that part of the country. Really, it was a long report, but this was in 2012. And somehow the government, after having this long, detailed, very expensive report, I'm sure, published, if you would, it was read into Congress and in the Library of Congress. After all that, the U.S. government immediately started pumping money like nobody's business, bombing the hell out of Libya on behalf of the terrorist organizations. Now there's Belhaj. He is listed in this long report as the #1 terrorist there, the Libyan, what the hell is
the LIFG.
Yeah.
He was the founder of the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, which is an extremist radical group, and actually was imprisoned in Libya because of his radical activities. But there he is. This is 2012, I think, with John McCain, giving John McCain an award for helping him overthrow the Libyan government. Belhaj was put in charge by the NATO and the U.S.
And this guy's
CIA.
a terrorist. He's a head chopper, mother raper, father raper, everything else bad you can think of.
Now he owns an airline.
Now he's worth, we've heard, $19 billion.
He lives in Turkey.
So it's very profitable to be an operative for the CIA, Mossad, and MI6.
Now there's John McCain, but you see Lindsey Graham with him.
Yes.
I think that's Blumenthal. Is that Blumenthal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know,
they're in Libya.
The band of thieves.
Either Tunisia or Libya getting that award.
And, you know, today, the only truth coming out or the only truth about Libya comes from this little dirt road place in the middle of Nowheresville in southeast Texas. The government of the United States has somehow been dumbed down where they can't afford to pay attention. You know, they support terrorists worldwide, rob, steal, plunder, and here's the report.
Well, when
long, detailed report.
When the Library of Congress has this huge report on Al-Qaeda and radicals in Libya and published in 2012, and yet we continue to support them, there's got to be some kind of the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, or they do and intend to do it, or something's very wrong.
Yeah, you know, a whole bunch of traitors someplace.
Yeah, and now Lindsey Graham is he's the Senate Majority Leader. I mean, despite hanging out here with, as you guys have said, a head-chopping terrorist who was pivotal in the destruction of Libya, he's in charge of the Senate.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Well,
real tough pill to swallow.
These people, to me, are, and excuse the expression, they're all whores.
Yeah.
They work for people who pay them or give them money or give them some kind of benefit for or they're being blackmailed. I don't know, but they do these kind of things for a benefit. They don't
themselves. They're not. Nobody in D.C. is working.
They're not working for we the people at all. How was Libya a threat to the United States? Never was.
Exactly. And in a previous episode, we spoke about this airline, Libyan Wings, which is now owned by Belhaj. Right. It's basically flying back and forth between Istanbul and Tripoli, loaded with weapons and terrorists. We've seen images of these guys riding on the planes. Right, mercenaries. It's bizarre.
Yeah, and they're all nice planes. They're all nice planes, Well, like I said, we've heard he's worth $19 billion. And he was worth nothing in 2010.
Right, and now you can book a hotel, you can get a Mercedes to pick you up at the airport. I mean, this is sort of ridiculous. This doesn't really look like an actual website. I mean, this just looks like kind of a dummy website, like car rentals, discover more. It just takes you back to the top of the page. There's no link to any actual car rental.
I'm going to give you a piece of information that ties in with that. They're having a big conference. We're going to discuss that in the show. Big conference in Africa, the African Union, about Libya. And this is their 8th or 9th conference about Libya, And so Mufta, of course, was talking about he would like to invite Senator Black or some other folks that come over there, And I said, well, Mufta, I said, how about an invitation for us? And he said, no. He said, the only invitations that come out freely are those people who live in Virginia. And I'm thinking Senator Black, and he said, no, the CIA people, they all get invited.
Huh.
So,
That's his joke.
Yeah, that's his joke.
Right.
But sad state of affairs.
So, no, you have to live in Virginia to get an invitation.
But we got some real detailed proof about how Turkey is bribing these people to come into Libya, and for the ultimate goal, he's promising them they're being indoctrinated to this is a goal to establish a new Ottoman Empire, and Libya is the first step.
Caliphate.
They've upped the payments now to $6,000 bonus to sign up, and the Turkish military is pissed because the officers in the Syrian military make $200 to $300. Turkish.
Yeah.
$200 to $300 a month, and a regular soldier makes $100 a month. And now they've upped the signing bonus to $6,000 plus $2,000 a month
for the mercenaries.
And so the
mercenaries
and the Turkish
they're making more money than the legitimate army.
Yeah. But on top of that, Jason, they are offering them to be trained and brought into the Turkish army under a big salary, bigger than the people who are in it with a good rank, and they're offering them Turkish citizenship if they'll join. Whoa. This has caused a huge backlash. Yeah, some of the Turkish soldiers are going to quit. They're threatening to quit.
They formally resigned. Yeah, a big bunch of them. So, Turkey is continuing its intended invasion of Libya, and it's got a lot of support from like the United States and other countries. And then we see all this nasty politicking going on, where all these countries are trying to pick over the carrion of Libya. They don't want Libya to become a sovereign state again. They want to go in there and continue to rape it. So one of the most heinous things that happened last week is our U.S. government, of course, is so broke they can't afford to pay attention. So they volunteered to take the GNA government,
the illegitimate
government, and the national oil company leaders and everybody, and move all of them to Tunisia, where they would set them up over there, and then they expect the tribes to turn the oil back on because the U.S., nice, magnanimous pieces of garbage they are, have agreed to handle all the Libyan money and make sure it gets dispersed properly. Now, does that stink or what? So the Libyan people don't go put your head someplace where the sun doesn't shine.
No, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
The Libyans told me, they said this is part of the same dirty game that was played against us in 2011.
And then they're having conferences all over. You're having conferences in Berlin, and another one is now started in Geneva today. All these conferences, all these outside groups are trying to figure out how they can help Libya stop fighting the mercenaries that are in there, because the mercenaries are all these paid agents for all these foreign governments. So real nasty bunch of politics going on, and we're going to define all that plenty of documents to back it up.
There's a bunch of
everything.
countries that want the mercenaries out of there,
Yeah.
but they do a lot of speechifying, and they
Yeah.
don't do any standing up to help, and so that's that. The Libyans understand what's happening. They will never accept the Turkish mercenaries ever, and they will be cleaned out of their country. There is a set program now with the African Union, with a meeting with all the with the tribal leaders, with the African Union leaders, with the Arab League leaders, and with some other leaders from. They say that the UN will be there, but I doubt it. But the GNA will not be there. I asked that specific question tonight. They said
they're not invited.
Never. They will never be invited to discuss the future of Libya.
Well, it's
There's
interesting to look.
going on.
Sorry, Jimmy. Real quick. Interesting to look at the just the headlines when you Google Libya conference Geneva. Google is giving us TRT World, Al Jazeera, and Arab News as the first three returns. I haven't heard anything about this from the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, or Fox. They're all obviously very preoccupied with the impeachment and the Democratic primary. But it's interesting, if you look at these headlines, Libyan rivals hold UN-sponsored talks in Geneva. Libyan rivals hold UN-sponsored talks. Seems the same. UN-brokered Libyan military talks begin. And
the guy that organized this guy's name is Kosher Salami. No, that's not his name. What is it?
His name is Qasem Salami.
Oh, Qasem Salami, yeah.
He's from Lebanon, and it's in Geneva, and it's called the 5+5 Libyan. And what it is 5 military leaders from the LNA, from the Libyan army, supposedly meeting with 5 leaders of the militias. With the UN guy from Lebanon, and they're going to figure out how to solve this. I mean, it's like the tribe said. They were laughing. They said if they knew the right words. I said, you mean this is a exercise in futility? They said, yes, that's what we're trying to say. This is stupid.
I mean,
so we got a representative that's not even Libyan organized a meeting to cure the problems in Libya.
But again, the militias, to be clear, for people who might be tuning in for the first time, the militias are mercenary groups, terrorists essentially. So we've got a bunch of criminal maniacs coming to an event in Geneva to negotiate some sort of treaty. That's crazy.
They're radicals. Most of them are radicals.
Dillinger, Jesse James, all these criminal hoodlums, murderers, are mercenaries trained by the CIA, Mossad, and MI6. They were taken into Libya in 2011 and then just given the country. So these criminal murderers is who they are. They're mercenaries.
Well, the Libyans call them rats. They're traitors to their country. Plus, they're radicals. Majority of them are Muslim Brotherhood, radical Islamists who want an Islamic state in Libya, who want to control everything in Libya through, worse than Saudi Arabia.
But most of them aren't even Libyan.
But this is basically
very few of them are Libyan.
This is almost as if Donald Trump said, "Hey, we're going to invite the leaders of the MS-13 gang to a conference to talk about how we're going to stop gang violence." They're never going to respond properly to that.
We're going to let them give their input about how to control New York.
Right. It's pretty bizarre.
The Libyan National Army said, and they said, we will go to any meeting that discusses peace in our country, but the only thing we will discuss is how to disarm the mercenaries, how they turn their weapons over to the army, and they leave the country. He said, that's the only thing we're discussing.
And there's going to be a 5-minute audio of a very, very well-spoken, very clear, great speaker from Libya that's going to define what is really the truth in Libya and what's going on.
Yeah, he's a spokesperson for Libya. He was the spokesperson for Libya in 2011. Saw him on TV a lot, Dr. Musa Ibrahim.
Yeah. And we've seen him in videos before on Unseen Libya. He's appeared in a video where you guys told us they'd revealed some illegal shipments of weapons that
that's right.
that he told us were being brought in by the people who want to destroy Libya. We've got a lot of comments going right now, people saying that there's only 33 people viewing. It looks like there's a total of 42 across all platforms, which I agree is a remarkably small number considering how many people are normally watching Crowdsource the Truth. There's been an unbelievable amount of suppression of the videos that we're doing and the work that we're trying to do. And I've been zeroing in on some of the sources of this suppression. There's been people who have openly announced that they're attacking Crowdsource the Truth. Now, if that's because they don't like me, that's really very unfair to Jimmy and JoAnne, and it's certainly unfair to the people of Libya who might benefit from a larger audience hearing about this information. We've spoken about social engineers. They've done a lot of things. They've been striking videos, so we can't live stream on the main Jason Goodman channel. Really, the best thing for people to do is hit the thumbs up button, share this video on your own social media networks, whichever you prefer. And of course, if you become a sponsor on patreon.com/James and JoAnne Moriarty, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, or subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth, you're going to be able to enjoy a huge and constantly growing library of sponsor exclusive content, including our show that's coming up in just about 15 minutes, Unseen Libya. So it's the best way that you can keep the show sustainable and show these social engineers that they're not going to be able to win.
They don't like us at all, Jason. They've been attacking us forever.
We're putting out the truth. This is not fun for any of us, but we think it is so important that we've really dedicated ourselves. We've lost our fame and fortune, if you would, trying to get the truth out, because we think it's so important that our fellow citizens understand what's really going on, what happened in Libya, and we are eyewitnesses. This isn't something that somebody told us. We saw it with our own eyes.
Well, we lost everything just because we were eyewitnesses. We weren't even putting out the truth then. We didn't even know or think about that.
We're heartbroken over what our government did to Libya and other places too. But Libya is really the place where we are the eyewitnesses, and it's important information. We hope everybody watches it. Form your own opinions, pass it around, because this is something all of us need to know.
Yeah.
And JoAnne and I work very, very hard at bringing this information to you every week, and believe me, it costs us
We're
dearly.
in touch with Libya on the ground all the time.
Yeah. If there's anybody watching right now who didn't see the show last week, we had a guest calling in directly from Libya. So this is really not the normal type of show that you would see on, certainly not on the mainstream news, but I'm not even aware of anybody else in social media or on the internet who's sharing this kind of stuff. I mean, part of the reason we created the exclusive show on Patreon and Subscribestar is that just so much of the content that was being put on YouTube is being taken down right away. People can order Jimmy and JoAnne's DVD, The Escape from Al-Qaeda DVD. It's $15, but their sponsors get free shipping. So send an email to Jimmy and JoAnne if you're interested in that DVD, and get onto Patreon and support them and what they're doing. If you want to see the truth come out. And that's basically what we're trying to do here. So Jimmy, JoAnne, we're going to give everybody a few minutes to get over to Patreon and Subscribestar, and I'll see you guys there. We'll go into the details in the PDF report that you've created, and we'll listen to that audio from, what's the gentleman's name again?
Dr. Musa Ibrahim.
And I want everybody to remember all the videos and all the files that Jason has helped us release via Patreon had been blocked constantly since 2011. They were blocked. We couldn't get them out. We didn't start getting our really valid information out until Jason helped us set up Patreon. And so it's a huge archive.
Yeah, but we had the DIA and the CIA trying to get our archive before we put them out. We had them hidden.
We had all the intelligence agencies in our home. They were trying to get it from us, and in a lot of ways that are not too friendly. But Jason has helped us. Patreon is a real important place. You can go back and look at all the archives. Yeah. Huge amount of information.
Yeah. Well, we'll see everybody there in just a few minutes. And Jimmy and JoAnne, I know people are looking forward to hearing the latest. And thanks everybody for watching. See you on Patreon and Subscribestar.
Thank you, Jason.